All right, got to talk some Florida State football with James Coleman. You can catch him on Gridiron Now. James has joined us a few times, including a National Signing Day, to set us up with a Florida State story. James, before we get the goods from you here, set us up in regards to where we can catch your podcasts.
You can catch my Florida State podcast at Doak Boys, DoakBoyz. Me and my teammate Gino Hayes. That's on Twitter. And it's on SoundCloud. I think Google Play. And then I've got my radio show in Jacksonville, but we have a podcast called Straight Talk No Chaser. Straight Talk No Chaser. That's on iTunes as well as SoundCloud. Like I said, if you want to hear about FSU football, a little bit more brash, a little more in your face, very, very opinionated from two former players. The Doak Boys podcast is probably one of the better ones that you can get.
All right, James, and don't be afraid to bring that to my show as well. Don't worry about that. If you need to bring that our way as well, that's great stuff. So, Doak Campbell. So tell us, before we dive into the current team, what makes that place so special when it's really going?
Oh man, it's just the tradition. Every school says they have traditions, and it's cool. Everybody likes to play in front of a crowd, but when you kind of get that crowd going and that war chant, and if you really just think about like the history of like the Seminole Indians and just war chant or battle cries in general, it's designed to be able to get your heart rate up and get you feeling like you're ready to go into battle. And when that band is playing that and you hear that dun 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 dun, and you got Chief Osceola, he's running into the middle of the field, gets everybody pumped up, throws that flaming spear into the ground. You know it's on. I've had guys that I play with in the NFL, that guys I've talked to, like even if they didn't necessarily like seeing that, they respected that tradition or something. They were like, hey, that was kind of cool. But back in my day, we used to walk all the way out to the middle of the field, maybe talk a little jive, talk a little trash to the guys, and tell them that, hey, once that spear is in the ground, the butt whooping is on. But that's kind of what it's like. And then when it's 85,000 and they're getting it going, man, it's just like in that war chant's going, that crowd is chopping. It's just the energy, the tingling on your skin, and just wanting to be able to play for we got really great fans, spoiled fans, but great fans.
Yeah, and that got so popular, that war chant, that about 10 or 15 years before your time, the Atlanta Braves tried to steal that and take that on as well. But it's all Florida State. That's where it started. That's where it ends. All right, talking FSU football with spring practice underway. A lot has changed in a year. Jimbo Fisher was on the sideline this time last year, flashing a national championship ring from 2013. Was one of the top 5 programs in the nation, or one of the top 5 teams. I like to differentiate teams from programs. It was the number 3 team going into 2017. And of course, it all unraveled to a certain extent, beginning with the DeAndre Francois injury. Still, the team finished strong and has plenty of talent on hand. But Willie Taggart's in play. He finished strong in the recruiting run. Just your thoughts about before we dive into the real personnel, your thoughts about the vibe of the program right now.
I went over there to cover FSU's Pro Day for Gridiron Now, and it just so happened to coincide with the first day of spring ball. And you're out there, and you just see it's like the guys are just ready to get at it. You see the coaches on Twitter posting pretty much journal entries talking about how they feel like a kid at Christmas. And, some of it you're like, yeah, that's kind of whatever. But, you felt it a little bit on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday when I went in there, I've never practiced with live music. But you go in there and they're, bumping young guy hip-hop, and they're getting a little upbeat country and some different music. And you kind of go in there and you're like, okay, man, maybe I could go throw some shorts on and give me a helmet. I might want to fly around. And then just the way they're treating everybody. Like it was an open practice. The fans were like there. Like they were practically able to reach out and touch the guys, which most FSU fans haven't done. So one thing I will say Willie's done a really good job of before he's coached the game is getting the base excited about one of the worst years we've had in the last 35 years. So he's got him excited. I like the energy. As a former player, I was treated with nothing but respect. I had more people stop and talk to me this go around and being on FSU's campus than I have the entire Jimbo Fisher era. Doesn't mean that Jimbo didn't like former players. I'm not trying to insinuate that. I actually really hate these parallels. I'm really tired of talking about find those inches, boy, over there. Let him go over there, do what he does at Texas A&M, leave us alone over here. But the energy that Taggart had, I mean, he's got, again, the players were flying around, going around, and I guess as an old guy now, it got me wanting to go out there and do something. Actually, one of my teammates, Travis Johnson, who was a first-round pick to the Houston Texans, he actually did some of the drills and almost killed himself. Like, he fell. Like, I was like, Travis, you're not a young man no more. You can't do that. Those boys were hard.
All right, James. I've been covering college football for a long time, major conferences, the big teams, and so forth. So, I played football at a lot lower level than you, not at that kind of standard in high school. But I know what to look for to a certain extent. But you go out to practice, you're looking for different things. You know what you're looking at. You know what to expect. All the guys look big and fast and strong at any major program, but you know what you need to see out of a Florida State team. Have you seen that in practice?
Yeah, I mean, no, this is the first day of shorts. So, I mean, they're not like Florida and some of the other places that started a week or two ago. They're a little bit further along. So, I mean, what I was going out there looking for, I wasn't looking to see who was making the big plays. Everybody makes plays in shorts. It's called being a T-shirt All-American. But what I wanted to see was the energy, the vibe, and who was going to be the alphas. Like, the one thing about playing at a program like FSU, alpha males get recruited. There are no beta males. And who was going to be the alpha of the alphas? And you saw young men like DJ Matthews, like making plays early. DJ did something, scored a touchdown, made a move, and then next thing you know, the boy jumps like 40 inches in the air, pretends like he's dunking in the air. I liked that energy. You saw Tamarin Terry, you saw Stanford Samuels III, you saw Levonta Taylor, you saw DeMarcus Christmas, you saw I think I said his name is right. Anyways, Christmas. You saw Hollywood Marvin Wilson. You saw these guys really step up and take the play, and obviously Cam Akers. So it was really just little things like that. Who was going to come out timid? Who was really ready to get out there and get anxious? And I saw the level of play rise. DeAndre Francois didn't do like the full 11-on-11 drills, but DeAndre Francois did participate in just the regular basic drills. So seeing him throw, but Slim Reaper did a really, really good job. So that's who I'm rolling with. That's who I think is going to end up being the starter at Florida State.